Hello, can everyone hear me? Okay, awesome. Sound is working now. Okay, it looks like we still have a few more people logging in. All right, we'll begin soon. Please let me know, guys. How are you guys doing? Someone's saying tired and body hurts. I feel you. Today was a day of challenges for me as well, but we're here now, and I'm hoping this hour together will energize you and support you and prepare you for the rest of your week. So I'm reading the chat right now. We have some people who missed the first session last week, and that is totally okay. We will try to catch you up the best we can. If not, there is a recording, and I welcome you to watch the recording so that we can be on track for today. So it looks like we have almost everyone. I'm sure some people will be logging in as we continue, but I'm going to go ahead and jump right in to week 2. All right, everyone, welcome to week 2, identifying and uprooting limiting beliefs. I am so excited for this week. This week, we are going to be discussing the first step in really clearing and uprooting those limiting beliefs and placing new ones in. So the first step in reprogramming the subconscious mind will be discussed today. All right, so limiting beliefs, I like to call them the invisible chains that hold us back from really showing up as the person we want to be. And a quick definition of limiting beliefs is a thought or idea or feeling even that restricts your potential and is often created in the past, but it is directly influencing your present moment. All right. Key characteristics of limiting beliefs. They feel automatic and unquestioned in that you do them and you don't even realize you're doing them until you've already done them. A lot of limiting beliefs are created in what we discussed in week 1, in the years of age 0 to age 7, when we are very susceptible to being influenced. Our subconscious is being created and we're operating in that brainwave state that we're just very open and impressionable. Limiting beliefs are often rooted in fear, in doubt, or a sense of unworthiness. And most importantly, they are rooted in trauma. And any form of trauma, any way of trauma, limiting beliefs root from that. Okay. And it impacts your choices and behaviors without you realizing it. And that's why they are automatic and unquestioned. So the goal here today is for us to become aware of identifying what a limiting belief is so that you, in the rest of your life, in the weeks to come, are able to notice and identify these thoughts, these feelings, these actions within yourself so that you're able to notice these things and learn how to reframe them, rewire them, and alchemize the fear into empowerment. So the origin of limiting beliefs, as I said, are mostly formed during the early impressionable years of our life, birth to age 7. They are influenced by our caregivers, our culture, our environment, and anything that is repeated in our life. Anything that is repeated reinforces neurological pathways that are being created in our brain, especially at a young age, when our brain is designed to be even more impressionable than that of an adult brain. And what happens is they get coded like a computer brain. The subconscious mind will create codes and will run the codes without the conscious self really putting any energy in doing so. So that leads me to emotional imprinting. So, emotional imprinting, what is that? When we go through strong emotional experiences, whether good or bad, anything that is highly emotional, high joy, high excitement, or strong fear, strong grief, strong sadness, these, alongside of repetition, can reinforce the beliefs that bring about those emotions or the activities that bring about those emotions. And through repetition of having that strong emotional feeling through certain beliefs will solidify the subconscious program. For example, this is a positive example. Last week, I was invited to an engagement party and we got to enjoy dancing. And I don't usually make the time for dancing, which is crazy because I had so much fun. Like, we were on the dance floor 1.5 hours, 2 hours. We were just dancing. I was sweating. I had no care in the world who was around me, and I was experiencing high amounts of joy. And it was just life changing in so many ways because I felt so good. And that is a strong emotional experience. Now, if I were to do that every single day or even every single week, what would happen is neurological pathways will reinforce this strong emotional experience with dancing, and through a certain period of time, that program will be set and grounded within my subconscious mind. So the next time I dance, I immediately go into that state of pure bliss and joy because the program turns on, my body's expecting it, my brain immediately knows what's going on. And that's really how subconscious programming works. And as a child, oftentimes what happens with these negative programs we're trying to uproot, we get told something. It's like, for example, something that I've commonly heard is as a child, my curiosity was met with judgment or with a parent who may shut it down because in their world they're stressed out, they're not able to understand why the child is curious and asking all these questions, and they get aggravated and they just want the child to stop asking questions. And so what ends up happening is every single time the child brings about this curiosity and this questioning of why this happens and why that happens, and they're met with the response of shut down, they then internalize that. They have an experience of emotionally imprinting where they feel disappointed, let down, upset, and they have neurological pathways that reinforce the feeling as well as the thought process, the programming that might be told to them by an outside source. And so what ends up happening is, as an adult, if that part of the person comes up, that curiosity, this pure form of curiosity, they shut it down just as fast as their parents or their external environment might have. Okay. So, how to stop a limiting belief? These are, okay, so we'll just start reoccurring negative thoughts. This is one form of a pathway of limiting beliefs. I'm not capable. I don't deserve this. I'm not good enough. Limiting beliefs. We have to be aware of them to be able to stop them. So this slide is us going over the various ways a limiting belief can show up in our body, in our mind, so that we're able to stop it and reframe it, but one thing at a time. So number 2, patterns of self-sabotage. So these are typically seen within the mind and specifically in our actions. So procrastination is a big pattern of self-sabotage when we really want to do something and we know we want to do it, but we stop ourselves from doing it. Or, for example, I hear, oh man, like I get stuck attracting the same relationship over and over again. What is going on here? Another pattern of self-sabotage where we are seeking certain people that align with our subconscious beliefs about ourselves and what we deserve. And the only way to break the cycle is to become aware and work on our own belief system about ourselves and be able to notice what we are attracting and what we are allowing in our life and reframing it and not allowing it to then break those subconscious habits and recreate them into healthier ones. Emotional triggers. This one is a really big one because we're all human beings and we all tend to lose ourselves to our emotions at any point in our life. We've all gone through it, so we all understand it, where we've had an emotional outbreak, we've gotten super angry at someone we love, or even at ourselves, and then we typically pause after it's happened, the aftermath, and we're like, whoa, was that really me? Why did I just do that? Like, I didn't I didn't mean that, but I was so angry. I was just so emotional. The words just kept coming out of me. And my friends, that right there is an emotional trigger that is rooted in a limiting belief. Often we have certain expectations or certain feelings of unworthiness or certain subliminal thoughts that we may have that may trigger us to lose ourselves to our emotions. Now, emotions are normal, but the key is how can I stay in control in the midst of an emotional outbreak? And working with the subconscious mind and working with being aware of our actions, our thoughts, our feelings can really help us do that. And the last one is resisting growth. This is a really big one because this is the biggest sign that a limiting belief is ruling your life. We are meant to grow. In fact, I fully believe that we will be growing until the day we die. We are a student of life until the day we die. And if you know someone or if you've ever felt at any point in your life you have not wanted to grow, to mature, to learn, and you wanted to be stuck in certain tendencies or ways, which absolutely no negative judgment on my end because we're all human and we all go through it. That is the biggest sign that I have or you have a subconscious block that is perpetuating a certain habit or lifestyle that is not conducive to your highest self, to your most empowered self. Okay. So what is the cost of holding on to these limiting beliefs? Simply put, it blocks your growth and prevents you from achieving your goals. We have dreams in our life. We have desires that we want to achieve, and we will never be able to achieve them until we start taking accountability and responsibility for ourselves, our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, even though how our subconscious mind is formed was not in our hands. It is ours, and it is our responsibility to handle it as such. So they create a cycle of fear and self-doubt that feels inescapable. Another really big cost, you're living a life just a prisoner to yourself. You're a prisoner to your mind, you're a prisoner to your body, you're a prisoner to your habits, you're a prisoner to your emotions. It's like you're going against yourself, and life is already hard as it is. We all know. We all know how difficult it can be, how many problems can arise in our life, but how we handle our problems and how we handle ourselves through our problems can make our life that much easier. And so, the cost of holding on to your limiting beliefs oftentimes is yourself, your peace, your health, your happiness. It's simple as that. Beyond achieving your dreams and like attracting all the things that you've wanted to attract, the most important thing is your health, your peace. You, and you deserve it. You do. We all do. Enough is going against us for us to be against ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, for example, today I was stuck in traffic and I was very stressed out because I need to get to my space and time to test my device and make sure everything's right for this call. And I was stressing out. I was very stressed out, but especially because we have this today, I reminded myself that there is absolutely nothing I can do. The traffic is traffic. The people will move the way they do, and I have no control. I just need to show up and do it. But what I do have control of is my thoughts and my feelings. I could shame myself. I could be very mean to myself. I could constantly perpetuate the fear and worry within myself. Or I can be a beacon of hope for myself. I can be a rock for myself. I can remind myself that it is okay. I will make it. Everything's okay. I'm as prepared as can be. And saying these words to myself really did alleviate my anxiety. And I imagine if I allowed those limiting subconscious programs to come up and I allowed myself to get swept up in them, I would be an emotional mess. I would get extremely dysregulated. I wouldn't be able to show up as embodied and grounded as I am right now. And that is just one way that taking accountability for yourself through the means of working on your subconscious mind is just so profound and really can help in your day-to-day life. So releasing your limiting beliefs allows you to reclaim your power. You become an empowered being who has full authority over themselves, who is able to control and be the stillness amidst the chaos. And we all deserve that. And that builds your confidence. You become a confident person who knows what they want and knows what they need and knows how to get there. And on top of that, it opens you to new opportunities, new ways of thinking, new ways of acting, new ways of feeling that you might be desiring so much, but you haven't had a chance to really grasp. Okay. So, steps to identifying limiting beliefs. This one's a really big one, and this is the main theme of week 1. Really recognizing the steps of identifying. It's through noticing. It's through mindfulness, and that's what I spoke about last week as well. Mindfulness is the gateway, is the key to recognizing these limiting beliefs and holding the awareness with no negative judgment, no judgment at all, and stepping back to this bird's eye view and seeing it and seeing yourself separate from it to be able to notice it. So noticing automatic thoughts. What negative thoughts do you catch yourself repeating? If you had the time in your week to do the homework was really supporting you in doing this. It was for those of you who did not have a chance to look at the homework, we had a daily exercise and then we had a weekly reflection based on your answer for your daily exercise. The daily exercise was simply noticing a thought and action that might accompany the thought that was repetitive and showing up a lot in your day. So one of them for me, one of the biggest repetitive thoughts that kind of are like on auto drive for me is pertaining to the image I have on my body. And so as a child, I was more overweight, as the doctors would always tell me as well that I would be overweight. And so my weight and my physical appearance became reliant on my self-worth. And so I would tell myself that if I'm overweight, I am unworthy, I am not cool, no one will like me. And I noticed every time I would eat, I would start pinching at my skin as if I would gain weight right after I ate. And no judgment, and I love myself so much, and I still to this day have noticed that I'm doing this in my days, even though I have done years and years and years of work on my subconscious mind, of work on my mental health, on my well-being. And that I'm sharing with you guys, for you guys to know, it is a never-ending journey, and we are all human, but you can improve. And because I have improved, I continue to do this work. But the example is, I noticed this thought, and I noticed it is accompanied by an action, and it is very automatic. Examining emotional reactions is another way to identify limiting beliefs. What are the emotions that tend to make you lose yourself? Oftentimes it's anxiety, fear, anger, worry, um, just noticing what is coming up and what is triggering those emotions. And trying to notice these things and finding patterns of, okay, this today made me really angry, and then this happened later in the day, and that also made me angry. Okay, what do those two have in common? What is the thing that ignited my anger? Just noticing these things and what in your environment is bringing these emotions up. Another big way is reflecting on your past, which we will be doing together in the breath work that I have in store for us later tonight. But what messages did you hear growing up? Who influenced your beliefs about yourself and the way you should hold yourself in the world? Starting to think about what your inner child went through, your younger self. What was she told? How was she taught to maneuver through life? You will learn so much about who you are through diving into your past. Okay. So this is when we really start to reframe and release these subconscious limiting beliefs. So challenging the belief, igniting that younger self, the inner curiosity, and interacting with the thought. Oftentimes we don't do that. We just observe our thoughts and we let our thoughts take us every which way. But when if I have an intrusive thought and I question it? If I have a thought about myself and my worth, I question it. Do I really feel this way about myself? Or is this something that is a program in my mind? Let me understand this. Let me ask myself all these questions and allow my mind to answer and observe it all and see what conclusion I come to. And oftentimes it brings you to the answer that you're looking for, and it allows you to really understand yourself better, because we are not defined by our thoughts. Not all of our thoughts should define us. We are defined by our actions. And by you asking and interacting with your thoughts, in some way, you are being proactive in your mind. You are reclaiming your mind. You are showing yourself and your subconscious mind, this is how I operate in my mind space. I am not going to just let my mind take me every which way. I am tough, and I have created the structure in my mind, and that keeps me safe and empowered. Reframing the thought. So once you've challenged the belief and you're able to identify the belief as a limiting belief, you can reframe it. And replace it with an empowering belief. For example, I am not capable. We all, in some form of way, have experienced self-doubt. And one of those ways is through feeling like we are not capable or able to do a certain thing that we desire or that we want. Instead of following this belief and thought system, we can invite a reframe and say, I am learning and growing every day. What does this do? It does not necessarily mean, no, I am capable. But in fact, it means I am growing. I am not perfect. I am not everything I desire, I wish I was. But every single day, I am learning and growing. And it kind of like causes a glitch in the programming of the subconscious mind because it's not so agreeable with the subconscious thought, with that limiting belief. And it is being a little bit of a rebel and challenging that program and inviting it to evolve into something new. So instead of trying to create a program that negates the previous program, what we're trying to do here is change the original program's code just a little bit for it to serve us instead of hurting us. Using affirmations, and reframing is a way of using affirmations, but we have the power to affirm things to ourselves. And repeating our beliefs that support our goals and growth is one of them. So if I want to learn to love myself more and I want to love myself, I can tell myself, I can look at myself in the mirror, or I can just say it while I'm driving. I deserve to love myself. Every day, I am learning to love myself more and more. Nothing can stop me from increasing the love I deserve to have for myself. You understand? You see that? It's me working for myself rather than allowing the mind and the previous programs to work against me. Using the conscious self to work against what has been implanted within the subconscious. And the fourth thing that really brings everything full circle is practicing new behaviors. It is one thing to check yourself in your mind and think to yourself. It's another thing to ground it in through action. It is through action that new neurological patterns can be created. It is through spoken word and action that these things fully can be set. And so, act in alignment with your new belief, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if you keep failing. You keep getting up and you keep acting, and you keep showing yourself and showing your subconscious mind that is still absorbing and listening and observing all that I am committed to this new belief. I am committed to this thing that I am creating for myself, and I am going to prove it to even myself by continuing to get up no matter how many times I fall to show myself that I can do it. Okay. So, final slide before we get into our exercise for the day, which I am very excited for, is just a discussion of what we will be doing for the remainder of this week until week 3's class. And I will be sending a PDF document via email with the replay of this week's class for you to have more structure with this. We're going to do something very similar to what we did last week with a daily reflection. And I know that we don't have too much time in our days. I know days are very busy, but I really, really, really want you guys to make the best of this program, and I want you guys to grow as fast as you possibly can. All I'm asking for is observing one automatic thought or reaction each day and writing it down. And this will take you anywhere from 2 minutes to maybe 10 minutes, depends on how self-observant you are, how much you're able to recognize your habits, your thoughts, your tendencies. And if you're not very self-observant, this is a wonderful opportunity to get started, to become more aware of these things and notice things, allow yourself to notice things. And on top of that, I will be asking you guys to think about reflecting on what you have observed. So what is behind this thought? kind of like dissecting it and trying to find the root of it. Where did this come from? Why do I feel this way? And then reframing it into a positive, supportive belief. So finding a new way to reword it so that it is supporting you and it is not taking you down. And this will be the big topic for next week. So I just invite you to be curious and see where it goes. There is no right or wrong way of doing this. But if you show up for it, you're showing yourself through action how bad you want it. And that is the most important thing here, okay? An affirmation. So this is regarding reframing in the journaling exercise after you have observed your automatic thought. Practice saying your new belief aloud with real emotion, with real feeling. So once you've reframed it, that original thought into a positive supporting one, speaking it aloud, giving yourself permission to, because it's what you deserve. And I will send you guys all of that tomorrow, but just a little taste of what is in store for this week with yourself. And another thing I just want to mention is I know, again, that we're all very busy. The holidays are coming up, which happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy holidays, everyone. And I know sometimes it can be hard, but this stuff is for you to use indefinitely. And if you cannot find time this week, I encourage you to try and do it every week. This is a great exercise for all of us. Even if we can't do it every day, trying to do it one time or two times, and that being enough. Sometimes we hold ourselves to, no, if I can't do it all, then I can't do it at all. No, it's okay. You do it once, that's more than enough. You do it twice, that's more than enough. Just you showing up and trying is more than enough. Okay? All right. So we're going to be moving into our breathwork exercise for the day. But before I tap into that with you guys, I'm just going to check the chat and see if anyone has any questions. Should we set short and long-term goals? Thank you, Annette. That is a very good question. That is something we will be working on next week. So next week and the week after. This week is all about learning how to observe ourselves and how to observe how we're acting in our mind, in our bodies, with our emotions, just to better understand how we operate. And once we've gotten that down, then we will open up the door to setting these goals, both short term and long term. And that if you feel like you are ready to step into that, I welcome it. I think it's so important for us to always be thinking about our short term and long term goals because that's us showing to ourselves that I want to grow, I want to learn, I'm ready. And that is awesome. Alex is saying, would these be different from general intrusive thoughts? Intrusive thoughts oftentimes are rooted in subconscious programming. Some are just thoughts that come and go, and others are coupled with reactions and movement. However, all should be observed and all should be noted. And for us to have an intrusive thought and ignore it is helpful in the moment, perhaps, but it's really just putting it's like covering up a hole instead of actually filling it up. But if we are able to be brave and interact with that thought and ask ourselves questions and understand that this is not a belief that we actually want or that is actually ours, we are able to reframe it and actually remove it or change that code to something that will serve us more. So Nikki is saying it's hard to change the belief in action when we can't control how others continue to respond the same way. I absolutely agree with you. it is really difficult to change the action when people around you are still showing up in ways that are pressing those buttons. And that's why this week is all about observation. It's all about observing and taking note of our reactions to our environment and learning how we tick and learning what comes up in our mind, because it is our responsibility to change, even if what around us is not changing. But for us to jump right into that is a recipe for disaster. So before even jumping to changing our ways, we must non-judgmentally observe how we respond. Observe what around us is making that response come to light, and observe how we can show up for ourselves in our inner world to better support ourselves in that moment. So this week is really all about observing and taking note and taking note and taking note and understanding, okay, this thing that I took note of, let me ask questions about it. Where is this coming from? Why is this coming up? Getting more of a clarity on that overarching thing that you noticed, and getting even more clarity until you can get to the root of something, if that makes sense. And then we have me saying, I apologize if I'm saying your name incorrectly. How can I help myself become faithful in what I must be doing in a regular basis? Often it is hard to do it, though this Thanksgiving break is a good time to start. Okay, this is a really good question, and I think this is something that we all struggle with, and that's why we're all here today. How can I help myself become faithful in what I must be doing in a regular basis? Well, the first step is understanding where is the resistance coming from that is causing me to not show up in faith of showing up for what I want to do for myself. So even if we have all the time in the world, these subconscious belief systems will rule us. And oftentimes they'll lead us to other directions because we may feel unworthy of showing up on what we must be doing on a regular basis, or there are self-sabotaging beliefs in place that are causing us to procrastinate and not do the things that we really deserve to do for ourselves. And so my answer to your question is, pick one thing that you want to do this Thanksgiving break that you have not had time doing. One thing that feels like you have space for, okay? And notice how you are reacting through your mind and your movement on doing that thing. Noticing where you're feeling, where your mind's at before doing it, how you get yourself to do it, and asking yourself, okay, why is this happening? Why is that happening? And going back and forth with yourself until you observe and get to the root of what is that belief system that's causing me to not show up consistently and do the things I need to do for myself. And you ask, same person is asking, what if anxiety or depression sets in the process? I completely hear you in this, and anxiety and depression is something that so many of us deal with, and it does keep us from showing up for ourselves and showing up in the ways that we want to for ourselves. And again, this week is all about observing and holding space with no judgment. If I want to do something and I'm really trying to force myself to do it, but I'm feeling depressed that day, if I'm feeling anxious that day, I notice it. No judgment. I don't shame myself more, because if we try to push ourselves to change these things through shame and guilt and being mean to ourselves, we're going to be even more in a standstill. Anxiety and depression are oftentimes something that rules us, and that is a whole nother topic that I cannot fully get into and answer properly right now because I want to honor the time of everyone and get to the exercise. But I will say that a really good way of overriding the systems of anxiety and depression is to work with the nervous system. This breathwork we will be doing is a really good way of restarting and attuning the nervous system to operate in a more coherent place rather than being in fight or flight or frozen in place. And oftentimes it's practices that allow us to really override these subconscious systems that create anxiety and depression for us and give us a small window to be able to do these things. And that is asking, how do you put yourself first over other people? That is also a really big question that is rooted in how you feel about yourself and the belief system you have of other people are better than me, or you have to really dive into that and question yourself and ask, why am I choosing another person when I really need myself right now? I really need to show up for myself right now. Am I afraid of speaking my mind? Am I afraid of showing up and using those boundaries, or do I feel unworthy of it? So it can come about from various routes. You have to decide in where that's coming from you, and asking yourself why that's coming from there, and going back and forth and getting to the root of where exactly it's rooted from to then learn how to reframe it, which we will talk about in future weeks. Ria is saying, I was raised with the concept of sahan, suffering, and jatu kravanu, let it go and let them win. So I resonate with your question, Annette. Exactly. So how you were raised, ruling you, and that becoming a subconscious code. So let it go and let them win. That right there is one of your limiting beliefs, or one of the things that has been coded within you. Why let them win? Don't I deserve to win? And asking yourself that question, seeing what answer comes up. And then saying, why is this that? Don't I deserve this? And keep dissecting it and keep going until you find the root, until you're able to reframe it. But in this week, it's really about asking the questions and dissecting and observing. Okay. So I am going to pause on the questions now, and I am going to jump into our exercise for the day. Before I begin, we're going to be doing breath work. I'm going to explain the process. And while I do, please feel free to get comfortable, either sitting up, upright, or laying down. I do recommend laying down for you to really relax. We're going to be doing some rhythmic breathing together, abdominal breathing. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be breathing in through our nose and exhaling with our mouth. Breathing in through our nose and letting the diaphragm and the abdomen expand, and then bringing it into the chest and exhaling. So we're going to be breathing in beats. I will be guiding you guys, and I do have an audio that will also have the beats for you guys to breathe with. And there will be different breath patterns followed by breath holds. Now, for the breath holds, please do it as long as you can. Remember, you are totally in control. If you feel like the breath work or the breath hold is too intense for you, I totally understand, and I allow you to breathe whatever feels comfortable for you. But for you to get the most out of the breath work and for you to feel your body really relax, I do suggest you follow along as best as you can and keep going, and I'm excited for it all. Okay, enough with me talking. I am going to begin. Let me get it. Okay. So just finding a comfortable position, allowing your body to relax. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out the mouth, and exhaling and letting your limbs relax upon exhale. And another big deep breath in through the nose and letting it go. Continue breathing now at your normal pace, using your exhale to relax the muscles in your body, relaxing them on your face, relaxing the shoulders, the chest, the back, using your exhale to relax your abdominal area, your hips, legs, feet. As you allow the sound of my voice and the music to be your guide. As you allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into a relaxed state. Letting the music course through your body, allowing the vibrational frequencies to calm your mind as you focus on the inhalation and exhalation of your breath. Now I'd like you to focus on your younger self. Anywhere from the age 7 or under. What does he or she look like? Can you feel them? Can you see them? Just calling them in now to be present with you. You might hold their hand, give them a hug, welcoming them, saying hello to them, and telling them that they are safe here with you. They might have something to say to you. They may be feeling a certain way. Just noticing and being with your younger self. And in a little bit, we will begin breathing together. I welcome you to stay connected to your younger self, holding them within your mind, within your body, as we focus on rhythmically breathing together. And in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In through your nose, out your mouth. In and out. In through the nose and out your mouth. Breathing in, staying with the breath, and out. 3, 4. In, out. In through the nose, and out the mouth. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, staying with the breath, and out. 3, 4. In, feeling your younger self, and out. 3, 4. In and out. In, out. In, focus on the breath. Out. 2, 3, 4. In, 3, 4. Out. In, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. In, you're almost there. Keep going. Out. 2, 3, 4. In, 3, 4. Out. 3, 4. In, 3, 4. Out. 3, 4. In, just a few more now. 4, out. 2, 3, 4. Last one. In, 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. Exhale all the air out of your lungs. Breathe all the air out of those lungs and hold your breath. Hold your breath, feeling the sensations coursing through your body, pushing yourself farther than you ever thought you could go, knowing you are safe and in control. And if you must take a breath, I invite you to take a quick sip of air in through the nose and quickly breathe it out of your mouth and get back into that retention. Here is where neurogenesis will begin. You're giving your body an opportunity to change the pathways that operate usually. Yes. And we breathe in together in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in and hold your breath. Holding your breath. And exhale all the air. And relax into that normal breath pattern that works for you. Noticing how the mind and body may be feeling now. Connecting back to our younger self. This next round will begin soon. It will be a bit more intense. And during this round, as we breathe together, I invite you to connect even further to your younger self. Remember the memories. Notice what's around you. Noticing what people may be saying, what thoughts may be running through your head. Notice if any memories may come up without judgment just taking note and holding yourself in safety while doing so. As we begin breathing together, remember your younger self. And in, 2, out, 2. In, 2, out, 2. In through the nose, out the mouth. In, out. In through the nose, out the mouth. In, out. In, out. And keep going. Out. You can do this. In, out. 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 In, you're almost there. Out. In, out. In, out. In, yes, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, a few more. Out. In, out. In, out. In, and breathe out all the air from your lungs and hold your breath now. Notice the body, the sensations that may be present. Notice the mind and what might be an empty one. Pushing yourself, remembering you are in control and you are free to breathe at any point. Pushing yourself nonetheless. And if you need a quick sip of air, I invite you quickly breathing in through the nose and exhaling from your mouth and jumping back into that breath hold. You are everything. You can do this. The count of 5, we breathe in together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a big deep breath and hold your breath. Feel the energy moving up your spine through your midbrain and out through your third eye, and exhale and relax. Allow your breath to find a natural pace that works for you. Relaxing into this moment. Nothing else matters but here and now. Connecting back to the younger self. Remembering what they may have gone through in their childhood. At this point, you have connected with that part of yourself. And now, how can they help you better understand who you are today? Do you notice any thoughts or actions that you may hold for yourself that you noticed your younger self experience through others? Noticing these thoughts, these actions that come from your younger self, what are they? Where do they come from? Ask yourself and see what you receive. If you could tell your younger self a piece of advice, if you could give them love or compassion or understanding, what would you say to them? And don't you deserve to hear that for yourself? Don't you deserve to say that to yourself? As we begin our third and final round of rhythmic breathing, I welcome you to think about this and feel into it. As we breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In through the nose, out the mouth. In, expanding the stomach, then chest, out, releasing through our mouth. In, out, in, out, in, out. Yes. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Stay with the breath. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, out, in, out. 4. In, 2, out, 2. In, 2, out, 2. In, we're almost there. 2. In, 2, out, 2. In, keep, out, pushing, in, yourself, out. You got this. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, feel, out, your body, in, with, out, your breath, in, 2, out, 2, in, out, 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 in, you're almost out, complete, in, stay with it, out, 2, in, out, 2, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, just a bit longer, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, and in, out. Inhale, exhale all the air out of your lungs and hold your breath. One last time, try to push yourself to hold your breath as long as possible. You are in control of this moment. You have all the power in your hands. Feel it coursing through you. And on the count of 5, we breathe in together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Take a big, deep breath in. Hold your breath, feeling the energy moving up your spine, up to your midbrain, and out your pineal gland. Exhale and relax. Finding a normal pace of breath. Checking in with the body. Checking in with the mind. Being proud of yourself for allowing yourself to try something new. Proud of yourself for doing the work most are afraid to do. Saying goodbye to your inner child, letting them know that you have got it from here, that you will always be there for them. thanking them for whatever they brought to you in this experience. Thanking yourself for showing up. Bringing yourself back to the present moment as you slowly start to wiggle your toes, your fingertips, giving yourself a nice stretch. And on your own time, opening your eyes, and coming back to the present moment. I hope everyone is feeling well. I know we have surpassed our time and I apologize for that. Next week, I will wait and take questions after we've gotten everything out of the way so that everyone who is wanting to show up for all parts can show up. For those of you who have stayed, thank you. I know we are a little bit past the 8:30 mark tonight. But how is everyone feeling? Feel free to hop off if you have other stuff planned for the night, and I thank you for staying this long. For those of you who have more time flexibility, I welcome you to just let me know how you're feeling, how that was for you. I welcome all feedback. Alex is saying that was awesome. I'm happy to hear it. Dale is saying I feel relaxed and positive. Bindi is saying that was very helpful and beautiful. Latia is saying that was wonderful. I feel calm and relaxed. Thank you guys. Annette said I had a wonderful time. Yay! What great responses. Those of you who last time had trouble quieting the mind, I'm interested to know, did this support you this time? It was more of mind concentrating on breathing, so it kind of forces your mind to quiet down. So I'm interested to hear, for those who last time had trouble getting into that relaxed state, were you able to reach that this time? Audrey saying, thanks so much. I enjoy this class. It's very relaxing. Thank you. It's what I'm here for. I'm happy to hear that. Nikki is saying breathing technique forces you to clear the mind. Exactly. Sometimes when we're just meditating, our mind is so unchecked in our day-to-day life that it's not going to calm down. Sometimes we are forced to just be go, go, go mode, fight or flight, get this and that done, that our mind cannot relax without something to focus on, like breathing and beats. And that's why I love breath work, because it can really support the people who have a mind who is just chaotic, going all over the place. Emi is saying, I thought at the beginning it'll be difficult to hold breath, but I was able to do it. Thank you for this experience. It is the best way to do before sleep. I can get rid of my sleeping pills. Yes, exactly. That's what this stuff is helpful for. This is really meant to calm the nervous system and bring it back into that coherent state. When our nervous system is in that fight or flight mode, or even in the frozen mode, we won't be able to settle. Our bodies will not be relaxed because they feel like they're in danger. And that's why we use external things to get ourselves into that sleepy time mode, because our nervous system is like, like, I can't calm down, I can't calm down. And that's why I love breath work. And so I'm so happy to hear that you feel relaxed enough that you could see yourself falling asleep from it. I see Shahla's here. Happy birthday, Shahla! Woo! Thanks for spending your birthday night with us doing this breath. I hope it was transformative for you. I hope you were able to feel your younger self and hold her and give her all the love she deserves. All right, guys, I won't hold you any longer. Um, if anyone else has any questions, feel free to email me. I will add the email to the email that I send out tomorrow with the homework. And in the meantime, I am wishing you guys all the love, all the best in all the ways, and I hope you guys are able to rest well tonight and have a great holiday wherever you are with whoever you're with. And until next time, guys, take care, everyone. Good night.